All caps, no space.
And we're live. Today
We're
gonna
not
be
live. We're recording a video.
Shut the fuck up. Today we're gonna be reading the Mooder game. So here it goes. Joe was your average Joe
Mama.
until he played the murder game. The murder game was actually Pokemon 4 for the Nintendo 1DS, except all of the NPCs, non-player characters, were murdered by a Pokemon. Joe went to GameStop looking for the new Pokemon game, Pokemon X and Ruby.
Stop. You're going too fast. You're going, even as a hyper-realistic blood connoisseur, which is currently an L plus ratio, Joe, a creepypasta. No. Pokemon 4? That's my favorite game. How dare they ruin it? And the
Shush. Pokemon X and Ruby for the PS2. But for some reason, the store was completely sold out. Joe went up to the cashier and said, "Bro, where is that new Pokemon game?" But the cashier, Tom was his name, said that he never heard of the game and that the real new game was Pokemon 4 for the 1DS. Joe said okay and bought the game for $78. When Jim got back home, complete name change, he was confused as he had never heard of Pokemon 4. He thought Nintendo doesn't number Pokemon games.
Hold on, wait. Go back to the to when he said the Pokemon 78.
No.
Please, I need to make a 69 joke.
He bought it for $78.
However, he had a coupon that subtracted 10 and added 1 to the total cost.
So it subtracted 9.
Yeah.
When Jim got back home, he was confused as to why he had never heard of Pokemon 4. He thought Nintendo didn't number Pokemon games, but apparently they do now because it's like Mario Kart or Windows. Who the fuck cares anyway? So Jim put Pokemon 4 into his brand new Nintendo Wii U, but something was strange. The title screen.
There's Pokemon games on the Wii U.
That is the joke, yes. Instead of saying Pokemon 4, it said...
Wait, there actually isn't?
The murdering game. Jim was confused, so he went on Google on his PC to tell what this meant. Jill typed into the Bing search engine, Pokemon 4 murder game, and she was surprised what came up. Oh, she transitioned. Good for her. She saw a BuzzFeed article about the top 10 Pokemon who go to the bathroom. A YouTube video.
Hold on. Did it just suddenly start using she, her pronouns?
Yeah, she transitioned. Good for her. A YouTube video that Smoosh made about Pokemon in real life, and a website that said "Donut Go Here." It's like a fucking idiot. She clicked the link. Johnny saw that the website had a plain black background with red lettering. The lettering said "The Secret of Pokemon Diamond for the GameCube." This might give me some info about the weird game that I still haven't played, Johnny said to himself out loud. Oh, gender fluid. Good for him.
Stop. His name changed 3 times in the story.
He fought for the website that on every other copy of Pokemon Diamond, the game was different. Instead of it taking place in the Kalos region, it took place in the Johto region, like in the original game. And that everyone in the game was killed by a Pokemon. Johnny probably thought the Pokemon was something spooky like Gengar, but if you read ahead, you know you'd be fucking wrong, so shut the fuck up, don't read ahead. Johnny closed his laptop and went back to the game. He decided that it was so cool he got a rare version of Pokemon. It was like catching a shiny Pokemon, which Johnny never did because he's such a loser. Jeremy pressed start.
Imagine going outside. Imagine not having a shiny of every evolution.
Jeremy pressed start and was greeted with text saying, "What time is it? This is weird as the original game didn't have an internal clock. But since it was supposed to be Pokemon Z, not the originals, it made sense." He met Professor Oak, who talked about the world of Pokemon and stuff. He was then asked if he was a boy or a girl, and since this trollpasta lacks any type of consistency, he picked transgender.
Thank God that was actually an option. Wait, was it in there? Did they... Oh my God, it was actually in the thing.
Yeah, he started on the first floor of his home with the character's mom instead of upstairs. Nothing special happened, but that was kind of spooky and would give you a chill if you're the one actually playing the game, right? He went into Professor Oak's lab, but nobody was there except Blue. Oh, wait, that's normal, Jeremy said, so he went on Route 1's grass.
Was it Blue spelled like BLU?
No.
Damn it.
When Joshua went out into the grass, he was met with Mew 3 instead of nothing. It must have been a glitch since you weren't supposed to run into Pokemon yet.
Mew 3.
Oak came out and saved him by using his Mewtwo, and then they caught the Pokemon with a Master Ball.
They're ignoring They're ignoring the glitch of Mew 3.
They went back to the lab where Oak gave Joshua's first Pokemon, a Mew. Oak said to go out and level the Mew from level 400 to level 5 and then come back. This will be easy, Joshua said, as he put his action replay into the NES and put in the code LEET. It's LEET in LEET speak, and it made the Mew level 5. Yeah.
So, Russell, sorry, catch him up. He's having to level up his level 400 Mew to level 5.
He already caught a Mew 3.
Mew 3?
I mean, what more could you want?
Alright, so here we have Johnny. His name was Joe 5 seconds ago.
And then it was Jill.
And then his names are constantly switching from he, her. He picked the transgender option in the Pokemon.
Shush, I'm trying to read.
On the PS2.
A voice said, "Ha ha ha, good job, you passed my first test." Joshua shrugged it off. It was just the wind, he said, despite the voice being loud and clear. Jay went back and talked to Professor Oak, and he told her to go to Lavender Town and kill the Pokemon that killed everyone. So she went there, and everyone was gone, so that was weird. Then the Pokemon appeared. The Pokemon. It was Mew 4. Mew 4 came out of my game. It startled and spooked her, so she was taken aback by how hyper-realistic Mew 4 seemed compared to how he looked in the game.
Yes, this is a small W.
Where has 8-bit, but now he was realistic. Mew 4 said, "Now you must understand the pain I felt back then." Jay wondered what he meant by that. So she said, "What do you mean, Mew 4? He then said, 69 years ago.
God damn it, I made the joke too early.
Pokemon Oak did an experiment with a Mew and the number 4, which created me. Oh, Mew 4. It's like a cross between 4 from BFDI and Mew. I have to draw that now. Anyway, I cried because as a Mew, my least favorite number was 4. Jay thought about how bad that must be. Her least favorite number was 43, so if she was combined.
Hold up. Did Jill go from John to Joe to John to Johnny to Jill to Mew?
No.
Is Mew now their perspective?
No, they're talking to a Mew. Jay's a gender fluid icon. Jay thought about how bad that must be. Her least
Jay.
Her least favorite number is 43, so if she was combined with that...
What is this, a JoJo's...
Shush!
What is this, a JoJo crossover?
Her least favorite number was 43, so if she was combined with that, she'd be sad too. Jay asked him if he could help by killing Oak or some shit. He said no, the only thing that could help is killing humans. So then he killed her. I was so scared by what happened. I went online and looked up more about the game. Apparently a developer of the game named I'm a Japanese guy was mad that his OC wasn't in the game, so he decided to make a game. Some copies of the game that kill people, like what happened to me. I immediately went...
What?
Yeah, no, so far the main character's name is any of these. Joe, John, Johnny, Jill,
Joshua.
Mew.
No, it wasn't Mew. He was talking to a Mew.
Yes, however, it said, as a Mew, my least favorite. Never mind. But anyways, so all of this happened, and now his name's Jay.
Anyway, apparently a developer of the game named I'm a Japanese guy was mad that his OC wasn't in the game, so he decided to make some copies of the game that kill people, like what happened to me. I immediately went back to EB Games and returned the game. After that day, I decided to never play games that began with the letter P. Don't believe my story? Well, here's a screenshot I took with my Game Boy right as Mew 4 appeared. It was like right before it came out of the games, that's why it was so big.
What?
We gotta show Russell this.
No, you just hijacked my phone.
Yeah.
You just hijacked my phone.
Here's a photo of a Mew 3.
No, that's
I mean 4.
A Mew 4, that's why it's so big.
Yeah, because it just came out of the game.
Okay,
It was like coming out of the game as he took the screenshot.
Man, I didn't know they could program a game in MS Paint.
I gotta make some Mew 4 fan art for the thumbnail of this video.
Damn it. We gotta read more though first.
This video is already 9 minutes long. Nobody's even gonna watch
One
this.
more.
Nobody's gonna watch
One
this except
more.
like Tunip or something.
One more.
Fine, Pikachu dies. Ash smiled upon reaching the all-too-familiar Lavender Town. Wait, this actually kind of looks good. He smiled over to his Pikachu, the yellow mouse Pokemon, gazing back...
Was that you monologuing or said in the story?
This is the story. Gazing back with a joyful smile. The both of them had heard rumors of the Pokemon Tower, a place where the deceased Pokemon of Kanto rested.
Such as Pinland, all caps, no spaces.
Pen Island. Penis lined. With Ash being the joyful young trainer he was, he decided to enter the Pokemon Tower to do a little exploring. His partner, Pikachu, seemed a little tipped off by the tower. It seemed a little bit too eerie for the regular joyful taste that their journey had had up to this point, but Ash wasn't exactly thinking about looking back. Ash decided to head up a few floors, meeting up with some fellow trainers along the way, but they didn't pay him a single mind. He was thinking about going out of his way to talk to the trainers, but perhaps they were grieving for Pokemon they lost here. It wouldn't exactly be very polite to interrupt such a thing, now would it? He reached the 5th floor of the tower, seeing the regular logo of a team that he had grown to despise ever since that fated day in the Viridian Forest. It was Team Rocket, up to their old tricks yet again. Though, he had to wonder...
The world from devastation. Team Peanut.
He had to wonder why there was only one person and not the usual duo of James and Jesse tailing him. This man was the Team Rocket member known as Attila, a new recruit that was still learning the ropes of the team. Maybe he was a young soul that needed to learn the lighter side of things. There was a small purple orb by his side, just levitating. When Ash flipped out his Pokedex, he'd figured out that this orb was in fact a coughing.
It's Orbit. Oh, I thought it was Orbit. You want an M&M?
Yeah, sure. Without even turning around, Attila seemed to take in Ash's presence and realize that he had a Pokemon out. Greetings. I have been expecting you. Attila spoke in a fairly cold manner toward Ash, throwing his young mind off for a moment. His tone was emotionless, as if he couldn't find the will to live anymore. That's a large jump in logic. Maybe that was the case, being in such a depressing tower. Ash, knowing that there were no other trainers on this floor, had a hardened expression upon his face as he replied. I don't know who you are, but Team Rocket has to be stopped. Are you ready to battle? I would put on an anime protagonist voice, but I don't have that.
Your what?
Anime protagonist voice.
I'm afraid they'll have to battle you. After all, Team Rocket is stupid. They're little poopy, stinky diaper babies. You're welcome.
This was always Ash's way to solving any problem in the world. He had to have a Pokemon battle, and his Pikachu was always the most reliable partner. Attila looked over Ash's person, an evil smirk tugging at his lips as he motioned for Coughing to go forward. Sure, it'll be a friendly battle to test out my coughing skills.
Was this a she the entire time, or did it change from she to he, or were you?
No, this is actually a story that has like consistent pronouns and names and stuff.
I thought it was a she this entire time.
This is actually well written. Ash, a little excited to be battling again, sent out his Pikachu for a good-hearted battle. Boy, was he in for a surprise. Many minutes passed by as the battle dragged on. Both Pikachu and Coughing were severely damaged, wobbling over the excessive amounts of fatigue. Yeah, obvious, whatever. It was definitely a close battle. Either of them could have fainted right then and there, but they were fighting for their trainers. Their will could never fade. Ash commanded for his Pikachu to use Thunderbolt, and the Pokemon's expression turned to one of pure concentration. Screaming out the first syllable of his name, he began to focus all of his electric energy into one burst. The lights on the ceiling began to flicker as the Pikachu yelled into the air as if he was commanding for the gods of Lavender Town to lend him their strength. As he screamed out the last syllable of his name, he let out a great bolt of pure lightning burst forward, closing his eyes before he could see what happened. Oh damn, as his eyes opened, he had to gasp at what his gaze was met with. Pikachu completely missed the Coughing.
I thought it was gonna be Pikachu died.
Only hitting a mere light bulb. Inanimate insanity? That Thunderbolt took the rest of Pikachu's energy, the mouse falling to a single knee in exhaustion. The Pokemon couldn't go on, but he didn't faint. He was still struggling to stay awake for his trainer. Attila, knowing that he now had the upper hand.
I thought Pikachu was a she.
No, this is Ash's Pikachu. Called out a sludge attack from his Coughing. The piece of sludge erupted from the Coughing's mouth, but it was relatively small. Pikachu took a gasp of air out of pure exhaustion, and the sludge slipped down his throat. Both Ash and Attila's eyes widened as they took in what just happened, and the poison was acting fast.
Pikachu died.
Slowly but surely, as the Pikachu fell to the ground, twitching slightly, the scent of blood began to fill the Pikachu's nostrils as the crimson liquid flowed out of his mouth. His limbs grew limber. Sorry, that's so funny to me. His limbs were limber. His skin was almost peeling off as his limbs began to, Jesus Christ, tear off on their own.
It's hyper-realistic.
No. The sludge was literally killing Pikachu from the inside. First the tail, falling to the side of the slowly dying Pokemon. The tail gave off one final twitch before the nerves finally had the decency to die. Then the arms quickly followed the tail's descent to the ground. Pikachu's vision was getting blurry. He knew that it would end. His head rolled off his body like butter. Jesus Christ, almost like a decapitation done with a sword. Pikachu was gone. Ash was beginning to break down as Attila's partner, Hun, had returned from an assignment he was taking care of on a higher floor. Of course, of all things, he didn't expect to see the horrific scene of a melting Pikachu on the ground. Out of fear, he was running for the stairs, and Attila followed with his coughing close behind. I'm going to have to put a trigger warning on this video. Now that it was just Ash and Pikachu, Ash falling to his knees by the deteriorating corpse. Get that fucking dog out of my face.
What, you mean Gyro, right?
He slowly tried to put the body back together, as if he wasn't able to register that his partner, the one that stuck with him since the very first day of the journey, had passed on. After a few minutes of struggling and crying, this is really sad. I'm not doing this enough justice by reading it with my stupid monotone voice. He put the
Would you like me to read it?
No, because you're going to do worse. He put the Pokemon's body into a stone tablet. You're just going to make it funny. And put the seal on top. He then etched out words onto the Pokemon. Allowing everyone to know what Pokemon lied here. It may not have been important to everyone else, but this was the world to poor Ash. Here lies Pikachu, beloved starter Pokemon of Ash Ketchum. He will always be remembered for his obedience and bravery. Ash had finished crying his eyes out, getting up from the tombstone, giving off one final goodbye to his very best friend. Turning his back on the stone, he headed down the stairs to the base of Pokemon Tower. As he reached the final floor and was about to head out the door, he saw a small yellow body by the... No, God, no. Its ear twitched slightly and gave off the regular cry of a Pikachu, running out the doors after doing so. Ash, thinking that maybe the events above were just a bad dream, pursued the Pikachu out of the Pokemon Tower. This new part of his journey had him going backwards in memory lane, notably hitting the Viridian Forest. It brought a lot of happy memories, and the Pikachu in front of him was the only thing that kept him going. He could even call it his humanity. After hitting Viridian City, he found that he was on Route 22. The Pikachu started to climb up the mountain. Ash, hoping that he might be able to take his eyes off his partner for a single moment, read a sign close to the mountain's base. Mount Silver. This was the legendary Mount Silver that so many trainers have tried to climb up. Was Pikachu asking for Ash to do the impossible to prove that he was willing to do anything for them to be together? He decided to try, choosing his Charizard for the job. Cheating, bro. He jumped on the back of the dragon-like Pokemon and flew to the very top, where a single yellow Pokemon stood in the snow. Oh boy. Not snow. Nope.
It's a Mimikyu.
Snow and a Pokemon creepypasta?
Snow on Mount Silver.
As Ash jumped off his Charizard, he slowly made his way up the stone steps, hitting the very peak of Mount Silver. This is where Pikachu had no escape, and he gave a warm smile toward Ash. Thank you, Red. You've proved that we can be together forever. Ash usually would have been smiling at this point, but two things were throwing him off. First of all, who was Red? Oh, hey! The naming inconsistency is actually being addressed, because it's a plot point. Secondly, why was Pikachu looking a little transparent? No, it couldn't be. You're just the same. You're a ghost. That was no dream. You're dead. Suddenly, it felt like a sudden gust of wind almost took Ash off his feet. Pikachu was enraged by Ash's denials of his existence. Why couldn't he love him? Why do you always ignore my feelings, Red? You shall join me in the depth of hell. Ash had no idea what was going on anymore.
It should have been a Mimikyu.
But he saw that Pikachu was charging up a Thunderbolt. He didn't exactly look like he was kidding around. This is the first game. There's no Mimikyu yet. All of a sudden, his Pokemon got out of their Pokeballs. Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, Lapras, and Snorlax. All five of them were in a formation to protect Ash, but it was no use. Pikachu let out a demonic scream of his own name, letting a burst of lightning strike down from the sky, annihilating the Pokemon that had tried to protect their trainer so valiantly. I don't actually know if that's how you pronounce that.
What? Show me it.
You wouldn't know. Anyway.
Yes, I would. Yeah, let's valley a little bit.
And now for you. A bolt of lightning rained down from the sky, and it hit Ash on the top of his head. The lightning coursed through his body, and his clothes were beginning...
Brandon 6. Will it hurt baby top of his head?
Danger Rob's Brandon 6? Will it hurt baby top of his head? A bolt of light... Yeah, whatever. But the most notable change in his body were his eyes. Those deadly eyes, his irises turning to one of a pure red. It wasn't natural, but he did not die. He simply fell to his knees for a moment, electricity crackling against the surface of his body. His cap had no more logo, just a blank red and white hat now. As his body rose up, his face had no more emotion. He was no longer Ash.
He's now red, isn't he?
The Pikachu jumped into his jacket, happy that his trainer had returned to him. Red had no emotion, but he looked on toward the horizon, the snow not bothering him a bit. He stays there with his ghost Pokemon, awaiting a trainer that would win to him and save him from the eternal silent hell that he endured. His Pokemon had ways of winning their battle, going so far as killing the opponent. They wanted him to lose, but he would never show resistance. Pikachu had to be a happy Pokemon, and he never met an equal. He's waiting for you. Pokemon Trainer Red wants to battle. Fucking 20-minute long video. Okay, I hope you enjoyed.